If you missed anything in the beginning, that's because we've been talking for 15 minutes already. But team announcements, the little Kat, Ashley, Durrett, and Charlie crew have put together some themed Fridays/Saturday workouts. So they're going to give us like a theme each week, like 90s week, and we can dress up for our workouts on Thursday or on Fridays or Saturdays, whichever morning works better for you, which I think is going to be super fun. It's something easy to share on social media. You can tag the other girls that in like your TikToks and on Instagram stories and stuff like that. It'll be fun. On Halloween, everyone dress up for your workout. Dress up for your workout on Halloween and post it in your stories, post it on social media, post it in our challenge group. Get on Zoom if you can and work out with your friends, but dress up. Q4 goal setting. We're in Q4 now, so if you need a goal setting one-on-one call, please get with your upline or me, whoever your upline is. And then December 19th, I'll post more information about this soon, but December 19th is a Thursday night. Thursday night team call is going to be our Christmas party. Okay, so Christmas party, December 19th. And there will not be a call the following week because I'm pretty sure that's like the day of Christmas or the day after. Reserve your spot in the Summit House. If you have not registered for Summit, go to coachsummit.com and register for Summit. It's in July of next year, I think. I think it's in July of next year, in New Orleans. We've rented a humongous house and we have space available. If the space is not taken, I will give it to like Jenna and Jaden like we did this year. I'll give it to other coaches to fill their spots. We're walking distance from the Superdome, so we won't be having to pay for like Ubers and stuff like that. And you have to go to Summit. Like you got to do it. If you miss Summit, you're missing out. So let us know if you have questions about that. All right, I'm sharing my screen again, and then she's not on here right now, but Meg totally took over the team this week with highest PV and highest team volume. So way to go, Meg, crushing her business. Did you guys see this in the team page? Hopefully you guys all saw this posting schedule. Just trying to give you some feedback and some like guidance on what to post and how to post. If you're in the team page and you click on this little button on the image over there, it'll tell you exactly how to post these things and even post, like there's examples of the posts. And then on each day, I gave a little checklist of things to be doing for your business to move it forward. So I highly, highly, highly recommend going through that process, okay? Alrighty. Tonight, okay, I need to stop sharing and share. Sorry, I keep sharing and not sharing. Share just this so I can use my notes. Tonight we're talking about grit. Who here has read the book Grit? Anybody? Or heard of it? Heard of it maybe? Okay. If you haven't and you have, if you haven't heard of it and you have any inkling after this call, there is a book called Grit by I don't even know. I think Duckworth is her last name. But if you are struggling with doing the things, like you know what to do, but you just can't get yourself to do them, this book would be really good for you. Okay. So it's The Power of Passion and Perseverance. How bad do you want it? Okay. Hold on, guys. This girl is being so obnoxious. Don't know where she gets that from. Okay. All right. So we are going to be talking about like what the heck is grit? What does that even mean, okay? So we're going to be talking about long-term goals. Grit basically means, where's my notes? Okay, the perseverance and passion to achieve long-term goals is what the definition of grit is. The perseverance and passion to achieve long-term goals. So what does grit mean specifically to you? It's another way to say mental toughness, okay? It's the pushing past your limits and pushing past the fact that you don't want to do something so that you can get to those long-term goals. So for you, it might look like going 1 month without missing a power hour, planning your posts for an entire week, inviting 25 people every single day, Whatever it is that you want to be gritty about, anything that you want to have as a goal, you have to be super, super clear about what you're going after, okay? Mental toughness, I just said that. So we need to define what that mental toughness looks like for us. We also need to build grit with small wins. So often we think about grit as like something, how we respond to like extreme situations, but we need to look at everyday circumstances, okay? So I'm not thinking like you had a baby, so you're taking time off. No, we're talking about like this morning I woke up and I have a headache. How do I have grit today? This morning I woke up and I'm sick. How do I have grit today? This morning I woke up and my kids are driving me crazy. My husband, I don't want to do it. I don't feel good. I've got my period. How do we have grit in those situations? How do we get over the fact that we don't want to do something to do it? Does anybody struggle with that? Struggle with doing the things that they know they have to do, but they just don't feel like doing, right? I feel like we've all kind of like come across that at some point. So we need to have that mental toughness. That mental toughness is like a muscle. It needs to be worked to grow and develop. It's not something you're born with. Grit is not something you're born with. It's something you create. It's something you build with consistency, and it's something you develop. So choosing to send that 10th invite when it would be easier to just do 9, that's grit. Choosing to invite when it would be easier just to scroll Facebook, that's grit. Choosing to make dinner when it would be easier to order out, that's grit. Proving to yourself in 1,000 tiny little ways all day long that you're stronger than every excuse in your head is what grit is. It's all those excuses. I think you guys saw in the team page, I posted that little thing the other day that says like, where do you want to be and what's stopping you from getting there? If we actually all, like every single one of us, not a single person on this call, including myself, could be exempt from that conversation. None of us are where we want to be, right? We all have goals. And what is stopping us from getting there? Those are all excuses, guys. That's what makes us less than perfect when it comes to grit, because we let those things in our way. But grit is moving past those and building our toughness to pass those things. So we're going to build strong habits and stop depending on motivation, because there's no such thing. There's no such thing as motivation. There's no such thing as motivating someone. Like those are like words we use as coaches and whatever. More so for like, you let me help motivate you. How can I help motivate you? Unless you want it, you're not going to do it, right? Those are like sales words. Let's be honest. Motivation isn't a real thing. Grit's about getting an incredible dose of inspiration and of courage. You got to know what you want, and you've got to not be scared to go get it. It's about building the daily habits that allow you to stick to a schedule, overcome challenges and distractions over and over and over again. So mentally tough people don't have to be more courageous. They don't have to be more talented or more intelligent. You don't have to be smarter. You don't have to know more. You don't have to be gifted by God. You just have to be consistent. You have to be more consistent than the person. You could have the smartest person in the world sitting next to you. If they're not doing the things every single day and you are, you're going to have more grit. You're going to have more mental toughness to get to where you want to be. Grit comes down to your habits. It's about doing the things you know you're supposed to do on a more consistent basis. You know, every single person on this call, there's brand new people on this call right now. Every single person on this call knows what they need to do to be successful in this business. And it comes down to, are you going to do it, and are you going to do it every day? So it's about your dedication, your daily practice, and your ability to stick to it. So there's 5 characteristics of grit. If you are not making dinner, whatever you're making, Taylor, it looks good with your Faye yogurt. So if you are not making dinner right now and you have the ability, grab a piece of paper and a pen, and we are going to write down these 5 things. Courage. I'll go through them one at a time, but we're going to write down these 5 things, and we're going to start with courage. These are the 5 characteristics of grit. I want to know, of these characteristics, what traits you each hold. And where do you think you're lacking? Where do you think you can work on to have more grit in your business or grit in whatever area of life that you're looking to succeed in? So this is the slide. I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I like to see you guys rather than look at the screen. So I'm going to stop sharing this while I go through the rest of these. All right, so courage. Courage is something that's pretty hard to measure, right? Like, how do you measure courage? It's directly related to your level of grit. Courage is not being afraid to go after what you want to go after, right? It is, it's not being afraid to fail. And it's embracing the fact that failure is part of this process. If you are a courageous person, you know that there's valuable lessons to learn in failure and that you're willing to put yourself out there with the opportunity to fail. Gritty people are not going to be cautious. They're not going to be like, oh, I can't do that because I'm not sure and I'm going to fail or whatever. So let's talk about the opposite of courage for a second, fear of failure. Did you know fear of failure is actually a medical condition? It's actually a medical condition. So when we're talking to someone, I bet you, I mean, if you've talked to people about like wanting to do the coaching opportunity or even the fitness, and they say, I'm afraid of failing, that's actually like a medical condition. So be careful when you're talking to them because it comes with a lot of baggage. So things that they encounter with fear of failing is anxiety, mental blocks, perfectionism, and it's actually to blame is genetics, brain chemistry, and life experiences. That's crazy that like you can pass on fear of failing to your children. And obviously past experiences, they may have done something like this in the past and they failed and they're afraid to fail again, right? That's past experiences and fear of failing. If you look up fear of failure on Amazon, there's 28,000 results. You think that's a market that people like know that so many people struggle with the fear of failing. So what that tells you is gritty people that are courageous and not afraid to fail, are severely outnumbered by people who are afraid to fail. And going back to it, courage is like a muscle. It has to be exercised daily. You have to be pushing yourself out of that comfort zone and doing things that you might not be good at, that you might fail at, like doing push-ups on your toes, like doing the things that you can't do in order to do them. You've got to be pushing yourself to do the things that you could fail at. And that might mean sending an invite because they might say no. That might mean running your own challenge group because no one might join it. Guess what? You run that challenge group with no one in it and you learn how to do it and you do it again next time with 2 people in it. And then you do it again next time with 10 people in it and you keep building from there. Courage is courage is getting rid of the fear of failing. It is moving forward without fear. Courage helps fuel grit. They feed into each other and off of each other. All right, so on your piece of paper, we're talking about fear of failing, or we're talking about being courageous. If you feel like you're a courageous person, write it down. If you feel like there are areas that you're afraid of failing in, write down those areas that you're afraid of failing in. What are those areas that you're afraid to fail in? What are you afraid of? What is going to happen if you fail? What's going to happen if you don't? And just think about that. You guys can like just take some notes on that if you want to, but really think about that later though, like after the call. Really think about the fact that what the things that you are afraid of, what if you didn't fail at those things and you tried them and you actually were amazing? Okay. Number 2, conscientiousness, achievement-oriented versus dependable people. There's 2 different kinds of people in this world. People you can depend on to be there every single day without fail. They show up, they do the things. And there's the overachievers. There's the people who show up and they are ready to take first place, right? And there's also like the other people, but they aren't on this call. We are either, the people on this call are, generally speaking, dependable people who show up every week, and the people that show up going after the gold, right? So the achievement-oriented individual, they work tirelessly. They try to do a good job and they complete the tasks, where the dependable people are kind of more self-controlled and conventional. They kind of do their own thing, right? Achievement-oriented people are predicted to have better job proficiency and educational success, far better than the dependability, because they are willing to go after what they want. These are really big words that I totally did not write myself, just so everybody knows. A self-controlled person is not going to step out of line. They're not going to reach for that extra mile. Where if you are a gritty person, you're going to always be reaching for that extra mile, because that's what a courageous person is going to do. You're going to go and do what you need to do and then take it one step further. So your coach is going to say, send 10 invites. No, you're going to send 15. Your coach is going to say, hit Success Club. No, you're going to hit Success Club 20. You know those people on our team, guys. You see those people on our team, right? I bet you're all thinking of 3 of them off the top of your head. You know who those people are because they're always doing the extra step. They're not only are they adding people to the challenge group, they've got their own little message thread. Not only are they posting on social media, they've got their own YouTube channel. I don't know, that's a joke. But they're always doing something extra, right? So it's important to go for the gold rather than just show up and practice, okay? It's important to go for the gold rather than, another metaphor I said, it's important to be the racehorse, not just the ass. And I thought that was funny. Okay, so who are you? Are you the dependable or are you the overachiever? I don't want to say overachiever because that sounds so rude. The achievement-driven person, achievement-oriented versus dependable. Those are the fancy words. Are you the achievement-oriented, or are you doing what you need to do, or are you going for the gold? And if you're not going for the gold, what's stopping you? Why aren't you? Because I know your goals are at the gold level, right? Okay, so number 3 is endurance. I love this one. Love this one. So it turns out, I've seen a few different numbers, but these are the numbers that came from the article I was reading today. In order to be the next Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or anybody who is amazing in this world, they have all spent hours and hours and hours and hours practicing what they do, learning what they do. A doctor, a lawyer, anybody. They go to school for hundreds of thousands of hours before they are claimed to be whatever they are, right? A professional in their industry. Why does that make us any different? It doesn't. It doesn't make us any different. I'm going to put that out there right now. I don't care your background. I don't care how smart you are at something. I don't care what God-given talents you were given. Nobody is going to come into this business and be a professional. It takes time and it takes endurance. They say that at least 20 hours a week over 10 years. I don't believe those numbers necessarily. I've seen like 6 or 7 years too. But this article says 20 hours a week for 10 years is when you will become a professional in your industry. And I don't totally disagree with that either, though, because I'm learning something new every single day, and I'm almost in this for 4 years. There is so much I need to learn about network marketing. I am so surface level, and I learned a lot in the beginning, and I kind of just wrote it out. Like, I know that there's so much more for me to learn, so there's so much more for all of us to learn, right? And that's where long-term goals come in. Endurance is something that you can't just get to overnight, so you have to set those little goals along the way and hit those long-term goals, the bigger goals. Are you spending the time? Are you spending the time learning the industry? Are you becoming a professional network marketer? Or are you just posting on social media? Because that's not becoming a professional? Are you doing the research? Are you getting into the videos and doing the trainings and doing more trainings because, you know, you're an overachiever and you're going to go do more trainings after because you don't understand this one thing in that training? You're going to go learn. You're not just going to sit there and be like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm confused. No, I'm an overachiever and I'm going to go do the things. That's what grit is. That's what gritty people do. Okay? All right, number 4, my phone. Number 4 is resilience. I like this one too. So, of course, your long haul to greatness, you're going to stumble, right? Let me just back this up for a second. This business is a freaking roller coaster. I'm telling you, you're going to go through every wave, every emotion, every single month, okay? 1 month, you're going to be like on a high and you help 30 people and you are amazing and everybody's sending you messages saying how much they love you and you're such a great coach and you're great. And then the next month, some jerk is going to return her order and post on social media that Shakeology is disgusting and this group was dumb and all you did was get notifications. And then the next day, 3 more people are going to return their orders because they're all friends with her and someone's going to sign up with your best friend and all of a sudden it's going to feel like your whole business just crashed. And it didn't. It did not. That's just how this business goes, and it goes that way for every single one of us. So when you start getting those returns or those coach cancellations or the whatever, it happens to all of us. You can't take it personally because guess what, guys? What we do is work. I'm not talking about the coaching side. But yes, this is work too. But I'm talking about the fitness side. We are not going and giving someone like a magic pill being like, here, you're going to lose weight. We are giving them the hardest thing they've ever done. Fitness and nutrition is one of the hardest things that anyone could ever commit to ever. And 90% of the people we sign up won't stick to it. The people that stick to it are going to be the people that join us as coaches. And guess what? Half the coaches don't stick with it. Half the coaches don't commit to their own nutrition. If we can't do it, how are they going to do it? You know what I mean? So resilience in this business is meaning you're in it for the long haul. You're going to stumble. You're going to need to get back up. You're going to need to dust yourself off. Grit is having the strength to stand up after you get knocked down and wipe off the dust and keep going. It's the combination of 3 things. Optimism, knowing that tomorrow's going to be a better day. Creativity, knowing that whatever you did yesterday isn't going to work tomorrow, so you got to do something different. And confidence, knowing you were made to do this. Okay? Those 3 things are what's going to, so optimism plus confidence plus creativity equals resilience, which equals hardiness, which more or less equals grit. So what the heck is hardiness? The belief you can find meaningful purpose in life. And I think that that's something really unique to coaching, is that we find who we are and we find that there's like a better version of us. It's not something that people talk about outside of coaching. None of your friends are sitting around their campfire being like, I want to be the best version of me. No, they're not. But you bet your butt that we're holding hands singing Kumbaya on our retreat saying, I want to be the best version of me. Like, that's who we are. That's what we do because we know that there's a purpose for us. We know that there's more to life than what we've been living. We believe, number 2 thing is we believe that we can influence other people. We believe that we can bring other people along with us on this journey. Your friends aren't sitting around the campfire being like, who can we inspire today? Like, they're not doing that, but we are. Yes, we are, because we're special. We have this hardiness. And we also believe that the positive and negative experiences are going to help us grow in our businesses, in our personal lives, everywhere. And that's not something any of us would have talked about prior to coaching, right? We wouldn't have been like, oh, I had a bad day. How can I turn this around tomorrow? But we do talk like that now. Like, it was a shitty day, but let's talk about it. And what can we fix to make tomorrow better? Like, that's how we talk, guys. We are the cheesiest cornballs in the world, and I love it. Like, that's why we are who we are when we do what we do. So, all right. I think that was number 4. This is the last one, okay? The last one, excellence versus perfection. Who here feels like a perfectionist? I'm a recovering perfectionist. I used to be, and then I had children, and nothing can be perfect anymore. So in general, gritty people don't even seek perfection, and that's a good thing. There's no such thing as perfect. They strive for excellence, okay? Perfection is someone else's perception of an ideal. Perfection isn't even what you think is perfect. That's the crazy part about it. Perfection is what is your guest. So it's not even, you want your house to be perfect, right? Why do you want your house to be perfect? For your guest coming in to think it's perfect. It's not for you. It's not for you. Perfectionism is never for you. You want your hair to be perfect so your husband thinks you look good. That's not even for you. Like, perfectionism is so unrealistic and so unfair to yourself. It's just chasing a hallucination. It's not even there's no such thing as perfectionism, or perfection, I should say. And it causes anxiety. It causes low self-esteem. It causes OCD. It causes substance abuse, insert wine, and it causes clinical depression. These are like legit things that being a perfectionist can cause, like, again, a health issue. So excellence is what we're after, right? We are not about perfectionism. Our social media doesn't have to be perfect. Our posts don't have to be perfect. Our pictures don't have to be perfect. Our bodies don't have to be perfect. We just need to be working towards excellence. Ashley's like rubbing her eyes like, this is a lot of information. Excellence is an attitude, not an end game, okay? It's all about working to be the best version we can be today. It's far more forgiving. Allowing and embracing failure and vulnerability is going to give you the opportunity for improvement. And it also allows for disappointment. When you're striving for excellence, you're not always going to get it. For example, second quarter last year, I was pushing for a 5-star bonus to help pay for Crap at Summit, and I missed it. You guys, that was like my low of low last year's, and I felt awful, but it made me never miss a freaking bonus again. It made me so much grittier that it just made me grittier. I don't even know what else to say about that, but it did. And I think we all have those things. So like, has anybody, like on your piece of paper, excellence versus perfectionism, has anybody ever failed at something because they were striving for excellence, and in the end, it made them never miss that again? Never lose that again because they pushed for it. They weren't afraid to fail. So pushing for excellence, does that even make sense? Anyway, okay, that's what I've got on grit. I do not have anything else, but I do have 20-ish minutes to chat with you guys. So I'm opening this up for discussion about this or about anything else. Do you know anything about me just now? She's still here? No, she's not. Okay. So what do you guys think? Who here feels like they're lacking some grit right now? What are some ways that you guys can have more grit? What are some things that you guys specifically for you can work on? Taylor.
I don't know the answer to that, aside from just like doing the things.
That is the answer right there. Grit is doing the things. Grit is not allowing your emotions to take over. What are some things that you're not doing that you need to be doing more of?
Inviting, I guess, right now. 100%. And I can and do make 100 excuses as to why I don't have to, or why I don't need to, or why I'm not, or why I can't, or whatever. But like at the end of the day, that's all it is.
Is excuses.
Yeah. And I'm for sure seeing like a lot of, I don't know what the word is, but I'll be like talking to potential clients or current clients and customers and coaches and whatever about like, I understand that you think that you don't have the time, or you think that you don't have the motivation or the energy or whatever. And it's like, we all share these same excuses. And then I'll be like, dude, go tell yourself that in the mirror about all of us coaches as to why we couldn't or don't want to or can't do X, Y, or Z. Like, sure, you can use that excuse if you want it to like hold you back. But if you don't want it to, then you're going to push past it and you're going to find a reason to just buckle down and do it instead of making an excuse for it. So
that's grit. That's exactly what we're talking about. What's holding anybody else back right now? Who here has a fear of failure?
for sure.
Okay, Ellie, what are you afraid of failing at?
Oh gosh, there's tons of things. I feel like, I don't know. So I feel like when I do have time to work my business is at night when I'm done with my regular job and getting the kids to bed. And then, after the kids are to bed, and then it's just me and my husband. And so I'm like, do I work and not pay any attention to him, and then he's pissed off because I'm working and not paying any attention to him, or do I, just do the womanly or wifely or whatever, that kind of thing. So that's a huge struggle for me because I'm busy like anybody else, and the end of the night is usually when I have like a little bit of free time before I go to sleep, and so that's my struggle. Yeah.
So, question was, do you have a fear of failing? What do you?
Oh yeah, different question. Sorry, I get lost.
So,
So
what is
I fear like failing my marriage because I'm trying to do all these other things and not putting enough time into my marriage.
Okay, well, that's definitely a priority. Like, don't let your marriage fail over something like this. So, you need to read some books to make it happen faster, so that way you can go work your business.
I know,
kidding.
right?
I'm just kidding. So then I would have a real conversation. Like, okay, this is my coach advice, okay? This is the very hypocritical Stephanie talking right now. So, you need to have a conversation with your husband and explain to him that like this is important to you and that you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, yeah, no, this isn't going to happen. But this is what I would recommend doing for any healthy relationship. Have a conversation and say, this is important to me. I want to do this. What would satisfy you? Like, what time could I work this? Like, give me what your perfect schedule would be for me to be able to do this, and see what they say. They might have a great option for you. And if you stick to it based on like, let it be their idea, sometimes that's what works.
Mm-hmm.
But my husband would be like, quit Beachbody. So I understand.
Yeah. I think last night when I told him I got the invite to it, he was like, oh, so that work that you have been doing is kind of paying off. And I was like, see, I try to tell you that if I work hard, you will get to benefit from it too.
Yes.
So I don't know. I feel like that may have helped a little bit. I don't know. We'll see.
Hopefully. I will say that is when it changed for Paul for a little while anyway, to the point that he was like, he made a post on Facebook that says, I am Team Beachbody when we were in Punta Cana. So that did happen.
I just said to Dave, as Ellie was saying that, I was like, dude, that's when it was like real for you. When we got to go to Mexico, and he was like, oh, wow, like all this work on your phone that you do just gave me a friggin' free vacation that I didn't have to plan and that we didn't have to pay for, and sweet, like, yeah. And these are real people around us that we're hanging out with, like they're not make-believe. So definitely the Success Club trips are a bonus. Just saying, yeah. If you have a spouse or something that doesn't really quite get it, they might after that.
That's what I'm hoping. So fingers crossed.
She's broken. So anybody else want to chime in? Does anybody else want to talk about like where they're struggling or where they can improve their grittiness? Who wants to be grittier? I know I want to. I want to, like, and I pride myself in this. Like, this is one of the areas that I feel like I'm pretty freaking gritty. Like, I'm pretty freaking gritty. I've been doing this and I have shown up, and that's anytime I talk to any new coach, I will say the one thing I can say in this business that has led me to my success is that I have shown up every freaking day since I started, to the point that even when I had this baby, I showed up every single day to my business. Every single day. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I am sending at least, even, I know, sorry, this is a really short, like low cut sports bra. Anyway, so every single day I send an invite. Generally, I send like 30 to 70 invites in a day. But even on days that I'm not working, I will totally send an invite. So my girlfriend keeps texting me, are you working? And she's like, live on a team call? Yes, why, are you at my house or something? So yeah, I've shown up every single day, and that's what I really, really recommend. But there's areas that I still struggle too. I scroll my phone so much. I FaceTime Ashley way too much. Like, I seriously waste a lot of freaking time during the day. Like, I do. I know I do. And I could be way more efficient with my time, because then I could also unplug a lot more. That's where I need to be grittier in my life, is the unplugged time, because I could work all day because I love what I do. And I think it's important. And I think that I'm hearing from a lot of you that your husband doesn't like to see you on the phone all the time. If we were on our phone and we were being gritty and we were being intentional about what we're doing on our phone at all times, we wouldn't have to be on our phone all the time, would we? If we stopped the scrolling and we just busted out our power hour, we sat here and we crossed off the things, we could put our freaking phone away. We just need to get our checklist done and then walk away. If you have intentional time that you're not being interrupted by children or husbands, and you could do 2 power hours, do it. But when the family's there, and if you've already done it, if you've already done what you need to do, put it away. Because we could work this business all day, every day. There's never a stopping point for us, right? And our husbands need to support us.
I'm having a real hard time with balancing some stuff that I have going on right now. And I'm actually feeling guilty about not posting, but also feeling guilty if I put too much time into the business right now, because I feel like I'm taking time away from my boys right now that are going through some things. And Gio has scored on the autism scale, so I'm like trying to do it all, and I'm really fucking struggling. So I'm trying to find the grit to be a good mom. I'm trying to find the grit to be a good wife. I'm trying to find the grit to be a great coach. I'm trying to find the grit to do everything, and I'm not finding it. And Mason was born with gallstones, and now he's having complications from those. And I'm 1,800 miles away from my family. And I feel alone. And I'm having the grit, or not having the grit, to pull through.
You've got to pull through. That's what I'm going to be the strong coach for a second, because otherwise I'm going to sit here and cry. So you've got to pull through, because you don't have a choice. You have no choice but to pull through right now, because you have a lot on your plate. But it's not about grit right now, babe. It's just about being there for your son. Like, everything else will fall into place later, because right now, like, he is your only priority. Coaching aside, like, I'm so glad you're here because I think you need this, but you're not here to be a good coach or sell Success Club challenge packs, whatever right now. You're here just for support because you need this for you. You need to be focusing on you and working on your fitness and nutrition so you stay healthy, so that you can stay strong, so that you can be there for your son as you get through this. That is all your job is right now. Your husband better freaking understand that, because he's daddy too. And you guys be there for each other to get through that for him. I went through something really, 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 really hard almost a year ago, and it's still going on. Like, it's still not over. And I feel the same way. I didn't know what I was going to do or how I was going to get through it. And I'm really far away from my family, but I had no choice. It's not about me. It's about the kids, right? It's not about me. So I needed to pull myself out of my self-wallowing pity and be the strong one for the other person. Because I'm going to say this. It's going to sound awful. It's not about you right now. It is about that child, right? And it's your job as Mama Bear to be there and his advocate and be there for him. And explain what needs to be explained and shelter him as much as you can so that he is safe through the process and everything else. I have no other words.
On top of everything else, he has strep again.
Of course he does. I mean, that's just life. My son, I feel like, comes home with something different from school every day. I'm pretty sure he like licks walls or something while he's there. I wish we could all hug you. We love you and we are here for you, and you will get through this. Like, you have no choice.
I'm not a hugger.
Oh, we don't care. We'll still do it anyway.
Did you see that long distance? Here it is. Yeah.
That's the kind of hug she probably likes.
Hey, and I just want to say, Natalie, so when you said your son was diagnosed with autism, that's not like I don't know your son or anything, but it's not like a final say. There's so many levels of autism, and there's so much resources out there available. I've got tons of them. If you want to chat, you can message me. I've got lots of resources for stuff, so you can message me.
Like, he's super high functioning, but I see all of these things, and I guess it's the fear that is really getting to me, that he's going to go to school and he's going to be picked on and he's going to be this and he's going to be that and he's going to be ostracized because he's different. And it's not the fear of me going to jail, because I will go to jail for that boy. I don't care. Like, please say something about my child to my face. And no, it's not going to happen. But I don't want him, like, I didn't want either of the boys to go down anything that I had to go down. And with him being different with this, he's going to be picked on. It's going to happen with this and all of that. And it's going to be this big ball of, how do I make him feel better, when I went through the same thing, because I was always the fat girl and I was always this and I was always that. And it was a constant thing of being picked on, and I never wanted that for my kids. And now it's like, he gets excited and he'll flap his hands, and he gets upset and he'll bite his hands, and he has certain tics that I almost knocked my father-in-law out for, because he was like, well, why is he flapping his hands like a bird? What's wrong with him?
That's actually something my son does too. And I've actually thought to myself, like, he just like has these little things that he does. Like, when he's like angry, he'll like, he get, and he's almost 5. But I don't know. It's not like, no matter what label they put on him, he's still the same boy. He's still the same child. You're still going to raise him the same way. So, like, forget those labels. Forget it. You're just going to give your child the best the best treatment, the best help, the best teachers that you can give that child. And, like, that's all. We should probably change the subject. Oh my gosh, he's a little fireman. Or Incredibles. Is he the little Incredibles dude?
No, firefighter.
He's a little fire.
Oh, so cute.
Say hi.
Natalie, I'll just say right now, been down this road. They have tried to put Owen on the autism scale. They've tried it all. Just advocate for your son and find the best resources you can. And that's how I've gotten to where I've gotten with Owen, is I've just advocated. And I know what's best. And everybody will say something. I mean, they still say stuff. Why does Owen have like a tube? Like, why do you take him to feeding therapy? Why do you do this? It happens. And you just say, I know what's best for my son. And you just have to tell people just to shut up to their face. It's the best thing you can do.
Yes, yes, yes. But anywho. Anybody else want to chat anything about grit before we jump off? I love these calls, and I love the fact that we all get to just kind of share and be ourselves. And whoever Holly's texting, I wish it was me. Alrighty, you guys. Well, I'm gonna check the chat box real quick. Love you guys.
It's just a big love fest over there.
I love this little love fest. Okay. I think it's about all for right now. It's Beat Your Best month. So if you haven't beaten your best yet, get beating your best. Message me or your coach if you need a one-on-one. And let's work on that grit for next week, guys. This week, tonight, tomorrow, today, yesterday. I don't know. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.